Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the Cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, last time we did a video on ADA, I asked you guys if you could vote for the Into the Cryptoverse stake pool to take part in the initial stake pool offering, or ISO, of SundaeSwap. And I know a lot of people were curious about the results, so I wanted to tell you, to show you if we in fact got a slot or not. Now the top 30 pools were selected. If you go over to their voting results, you can see that 31,719 votes were in fact cast. And Into the Cryptoverse actually got the highest amount of votes out of any of the stake pools. You can see here, we came in number 6, and I'll explain that in a minute. We got 4,947 votes. There's not any, I don't see any other pools that had almost 5,000 votes. So we definitely came in the lead in terms of the number of votes. And the only reason we came in 6th place is because it's a weighted amount. So some of the larger pools had more ADA controlled in them, but still, we came in a high enough place to take part in the SundaeSwap ISO, so thank you for voting. By the way, another question I've received is, does it matter if you're staked in ITC or ITC2? It does not matter. Okay, it does not matter. So if you want to receive the SundaeSwap tokens when they do their distribution, it does not matter which pool you're in. In fact, I would encourage you to sign up to stake with ITC2, because ITC right now is about 92.5% saturated, but ITC2 is only about 50% saturated. So if you're new and you haven't delegated yet, I would encourage you to delegate to ITC2. They will both receive the SundaeSwap tokens, assuming they carry it out, right? And that's not going to happen immediately. I still think we're a little ways off, but just so you know, I would encourage you to stake with ITC2 because we have a lot more room in that pool. Additionally, I wanted to say, you know, if you don't know how to stake with ITC or ITC2, go to staking.intothecryptoverse.com. You click on Cardano, and there'll be a video there to show you how to do so. Okay. Now the other question, the last question related to that, and then we'll get into the charts, is I've received some people asking if you didn't vote, or if you're not already staking with Into the Cryptoverse, can you still get the tokens? And I believe the answer is yes. They haven't done it yet. They haven't done the distribution yet. So I still believe you should have plenty of time to do it. I would encourage you to just go ahead and do it, but again, do it with ITC2, okay? So congratulations, Into the Cryptoverse got a slot. 30 of the pools got a slot, and you can see which 30 of those pools received those slots, right? So with that said, why don't we go ahead and jump into the chart. Cardano is now trading for a very modest $1.87. We have at least reached the window where I believe, I think we'll see ADA ultimately break out to the upside, starting from mid-November until sometime in late March is what I'm dubiously speculating on based on some prior trends that we've seen. Now, unfortunately, right now, ADA has dropped below the bull market support band, which ranges from 197 up to 204. Of course, we know why. Bitcoin had a fairly nice drop over the last several days. You can see that it's dropped around 20% almost from the top to the bottom, and now it's all the way back up to about a 15% drop from the top. So, you know, all in all, Bitcoin had a nice drop. Therefore, a lot of the altcoins dropped against the US dollar. A lot of them dropped against Bitcoin. You can see that ADA had a pullback. But I still do have high hopes for ADA in terms of getting back above the bull market support band over the next several months and hopefully breaking up to the upside. The ADA Bitcoin valuation is at least somewhat interesting to watch. Seems like it's trying to hold the line here, right? Like at this level, so if I shift this up, that's the prior weekly close. We're just below that. If I go down to the wick, you can see we're trying to hang on there. I mean, you know, I'm not super optimistic about ADA Bitcoin holding this line because it does seem like there's a decent probability that at some point in the next, couple of months or something, that Bitcoin should likely see some type of a significant move, or, I mean, maybe not like a parabolic move necessarily, but a move to the upside pretty quickly. And if that were to happen, then there's still a good chance that ADA Bitcoin bleeds. Okay. Now, the one thing that I could see causing this not to bleed is if we really start to see the Cardano ecosystem develop. Okay, if we actually see smart contracts launching and people using the ecosystem, then I'd be a little bit more optimistic in the short term. We still have to wait on that. We're still waiting on those things to deploy. With that said, let's go look at the ADA Ether valuation. It has been bleeding. It's still trying to sort of hold on to this prior level that it's hit a number of times. Note that when you have altcoins, you want to make sure they at least oscillate against Ethereum and that they don't just bleed. It has been bleeding recently, but you can see that over the macro scale, ADA is an oscillator against Ethereum, and that's one of the reasons I hold it. I think it does provide a nice hedge against Ethereum for the market cycle. Okay, so my outlook here has not really changed that much. Okay, the main thing we have to hold on to now is if Bitcoin drops again, then we're going to see altcoins drop with it. If Bitcoin recovers, then we should see ADA go back up against the US dollar, even if it bleeds against Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin were to go up into, say, a nice move over the next several months, it doesn't mean that ADAUSD has to go down, but it would likely mean that ADA Bitcoin would drop. Okay. Alternatively, if Bitcoin ends up just going through a phase where it hangs out above the bull market support band, okay, if it just sort of starts to go sideways up here, you can still see altcoins rally. So those would be the two primary ways that we could see the ADA valuation against Bitcoin go up in the short term, is if Bitcoin doesn't make any crazy moves. If Bitcoin goes down too quickly or up too quickly, we would expect ADA to bleed against Bitcoin. But other than that, there still is a chance we could see it go up in the short term. Now, if we go look at CoinMarketCap, you can see that Cardano's market cap right now is coming in at 62 billion. Okay, and certainly, some of these altcoins are in fact moving, so it's not like they can't move. You can see that Cardano's up about 5% on the week, but unfortunately it's down about 8 or 9%, or on the day. It's up about 5% on the day, but it's down about 8 to 9% on the week. Unfortunately, it's not keeping up with some of the other cryptocurrencies right now, but it is still coming in at number 6, number 5 if you don't include stablecoins. So, another thing I was looking into with Cardano is it does seem like they've started to focus on rollups and at least starting to think about how they can scale and whatnot. That was one of the issues that I was sort of anticipating with Cardano. We talk about this more on the premium list in the public channel, but it does seem like they're sort of recognizing that and working towards that, and recognizing that rollups will in fact help with the demand that I believe the Cardano ecosystem will experience. So I would say that is a big step in the right direction. That's something we've watched transpire over the last several months and whatnot in terms of them talking about that stuff. So I'm feeling a bit more optimistic about that, and hopefully we'll see those things come to pass, and hopefully we can get some the whole DeFi ecosystem on Cardano here over the next few months. But we still have a little bit of ways to go. Let's see what Bitcoin does. Remember, again, if you haven't staked with ITC2, go do so, because whenever SundaeSwap does their initial stake pool offering, if you're delegated to ITC or ITC2, you should receive some of the tokens for having your ADA staked into the Cryptoverse. Okay. I understand that we can go through these boring times with Cardano, the why doesn't ADA do anything phase. But look, we saw the same thing with Ethereum last market cycle. We saw phases where it just basically went sideways for a year. Essentially, that's what ADA is doing. It's been going sideways for the past 38 weeks or so. This isn't new, okay? This isn't new. We've seen this with other projects. If you don't believe me, just go look at Ethereum, and you can see last market cycle. Let me go to a chart that actually has it. You can see last market cycle, there's definitely phases where Ethereum more or less just went sideways for upwards of a year. So this is fairly normal, especially for an asset being up approximately 100x from the market cycle bottom. All right. If If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the Telegram channel. We also do the premium list into the Cryptoverse.com. But if you want the Black Friday sale, check out the description below and you find out how I'm navigating the markets. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, click the bell icon to turn on notifications. I'll see you next time. Bye.